Yeah, I think this is a wild one here, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into this video immediately. This is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's check it out.
They accept Snap or Wick.
Well, you take me to my next question about grocery stores. Some executives, including one of the top grocery stores owners, billionaires, threatening to shut down his supermarket in the city. John Catsimatidis, who runs Christie's grocery chain, you're probably very familiar with him.
Right, Manhattan.
He said this on Election Day, quote, "If the city of New York is going socialist, I will definitely close or sell or move or franchise the Christie's locations." In order to run New York City successfully as mayor, do you not need the support of a billionaire businessman like John Catsimatidis?
I don't know if I need his support specifically, but I want to make clear that my vision for this city is a vision for every single New Yorker, including business leaders across the city. And the reason I say that is that my proposals, even the ones to increase the top corporate tax rate of New York to match that of New Jersey, are ones that would also benefit those business leaders.
Oh, yeah?
Because when I have conversations with them, what I also hear is the just how expensive this city is preventing them from attracting and retaining the talent they need to grow their business.
Yeah, but you're trying to make it more expensive by taxing them to death.
And ultimately, I'm looking forward to having those meetings, having those sit-downs to make clear why this vision would benefit all.
We went on your website and realized there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods.
What happened? Like those are the exact words that are on his website. Really? Like that? Oh, that's not going to work, bro. All right, so here's the thing, guys. I'm definitely down for, listen, if he wins, if the people want him, that's just what the people want, and I definitely think that the people would have spoken if that's the case if he won here. I'm personally on the team of saying that he probably shouldn't be in any type of office. There are going to be a good amount of people who absolutely love him. I'm guessing most likely on the left. I think this is kind of in their bag here. But I'm not hearing a single good thing about this here, guys. I run a company. I can't imagine being taxed more than I'm already being taxed, and I'm not seeing anything back from it. It's not beneficial to me, seriously. So why exactly would I want to pay more taxes? Now, I can only imagine. Now, if you own a gigantic, grocery store, specifically in Manhattan, you're already being wildly bombarded on the rent cost. Imagine how much the rent costs in some of these places. And now you want to hit him with crazier taxes. Yeah, I don't blame the guy specifically who has no interest in this here. And then to specifically tax wider areas is a wild thing to say. All right, because generally in like urban areas and these type of things here, I mean, normally, I'm trying to be nice here. There is such a thing where people who are, of the fairer complexion, let's say, they tend to not want to stay specifically in some of these crime-ridden places. I mean, there's a literal word for it. It's called white flight, right? And if you specifically target some of these individuals that are most likely paying, gigantic amount of home-owning taxes in the first place out there, why exactly are you going to now specifically say out loud you're going to target them? Like, do you really think that they're going to vote for you? Who would vote against their own interest? Well, the left does that all the time, though, I think. Right? But that is wild to hear.
Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on saying that he would change in the first 100 days. He's since sought to defend it and lost at every juncture in court.
And I understand you're saying we're simply describing the types of neighborhoods that would see these increase in taxes, and yet by invoking race, do you run the risk of potentially alienating key constituents?
I think I'm just naming things as they are. And ultimately, the thing that motivates me in this is to create a system of fairness. It is not to work backwards from a racial assessment of neighborhoods or our city. Rather,
that's exactly what he's doing.
To ensure that we actually have an equal playing field. And right now what we see with the property tax system is one that is overtaxing a number of New Yorkers and undertaxing others, and an inability of political will to resolve that.
So no plans to change that language on your website?
No, probably not.
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system. And the use of that language is just an assessment of the neighborhood.
All right. You are a self-described...
I don't like his smile, bro. I'm going to be honest. I don't like his smile. It makes me feel weird, bro. Anyway.
Democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
Billionaires
I
have the
don't
right
think
to
that we
exist.
should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
Yeah, you're not going to work with any billionaires, bro. I'm going to be honest here. Like off the top, they're not going to like you very much. Now, when it comes down to something very intriguing, I don't specifically disagree wholeheartedly with the statement here. $1 billion is a lot of money, bro. The difference between you having $1 million, which is crazy, right, to having $1 billion is a wild amount of money, guys. Just understand the difference between that. I don't even know personally, ethically, if you can be an ethical, moral billionaire. Like to make that type of money, I am not, guys. I'm not sure that all that money was done ethically and morally. Specifically, being that you've most likely used that. How to explain it? You've most likely earned that money off of the backs of many people, right? So that's where the ethics of it comes in the first place. But either way here, guys, if you start kind of capping the amount of money people make, and then you start taxing anything over a certain amount in a wild manner, that does not really help with innovation. Right, because now we're talking about all types of like egalitarianism and these type of things that generally equals massive amounts of failure. But this side of the aisle, specifically when it comes to democratic socialists, is that they tend to absolutely, almost exclusively embody the concept of egalitarianism, and meritocracy is absolutely evil. Imagine the society that we are in, that these two things are polar opposites, but yet one is absolutely terrible. Why would you want to work really hard, so you can take care of your kids and your kids have a leg up because you worked really hard, rather than giving all your money away for worthless causes that mean nothing to you personally? Right? Like that's his idea of what seems to be some type of like utopian Manhattan, guys. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't like this guy. Right? Like there's nothing that I've heard from him that's comfortable to me. And his smile drives me crazy. It feels fake. Right? Why are you smiling like that?
Well, let me ask you about what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has had to say. He's had a lot to say about your campaign.
I can imagine.
He called you a communist. Because he's the president, I want to give you a chance to respond directly to him. How do you respond? Are you a communist?
No, I am not. And I have already had to start to get used to the fact that the president will talk about how I look, how I sound, where I'm from, who I am, ultimately because he wants to distract from what I'm fighting for. And I'm fighting for the very working people that he ran a campaign to empower, that he has since then betrayed. And when we talk about my politics, I call myself a democratic socialist in many ways inspired by the words of Dr. King from decades ago, who said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There has to be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And as income inequality has declined nationwide, it has increased in New York City. And ultimately, what we need is a city where every single person can thrive.
Yeah, listen, New York City is absolutely expensive, guys, okay? Listen, I'm from New York. I'm from Long Island. I can definitely tell you I've spent a good amount of time in Manhattan. And I'm just telling you this right now. New York has always been incredibly expensive. It is what it is here. And I definitely would tell people that maybe it's just time to leave. Right? Leave the city, bro. Leave it for the tourists and the uber wealthy. Who cares now, guys? It is cheaper. Guys, the money that you are spending on your terrible apartment filled with roaches in the Bronx, bro, all right, is in fact going to bring you much further in other places, specifically the South or like the Midwest and things like that. You can definitely maintain that. If you purchased it, sell it. Okay, sell it now and take those profits and literally move somewhere else. Okay, the cost of living is in fact better anywhere else outside of Manhattan. It is what it is. I hope this guy loses. There's nothing about this man that was, incredibly intriguing to me. The fact that he says also that he doesn't think that there should be billionaires. Listen, I understand the philosophical kind of look at that, and I'm not ignorant on the stance here. I understand what he is saying, but whenever I hear it, it kind of just rubs me in a very terrible manner, let's say, because it's like, bro, if you tell people they can no longer make past a certain amount of money or you're going to tax it at 100%, okay, when you say that, you're not fostering any growth or innovation. Not really. Not really at all. There's a cap on how much money you can make. I'm not doing that. I'm going to stop at 900 and relax. Basically, I'm not going to push harder. Imagine if Elon Musk was told that, guys. All right. How many companies would not exist because now he makes too much money? But at the same time, guys, listen, how are we defining billionaires? Let's just start there also. Like, how do we also define millionaires? I guess if we honestly sit down and come up with a literal definition, are you referring to this person has $1 billion in his bank account liquidity wise, right? Or is it $1 billion in assets? Because that would be a little wild, because I'm sure, or even $1 million in assets, right? Like, think about how easy that actually is if you've worked hard in your life. Like, if you've worked hard and invested well, $1 million is not hard at all. That sounds like one property you live in and another property that you rent, okay? Let's just be completely honest. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like, that. 2 properties. That's it. And like, I don't know, some stock or a 401k. That's how easy it is to achieve $1 million in 2025, guys. I'm not saying that it's like an easy feat, but if you have worked really hard in your life, you've invested well, saved, not squandered your money, you could easily achieve that number, let's say. But now, if we're saying billionaires shouldn't exist and it's $1 billion in liquidity, well, firstly, guys, I don't think that a billionaire would be that stupid to have that type of money sitting in any bank. Let's just be honest here. It's going to be in some type of asset. But if it is liquid, then I can understand that. I can understand what you mean by that. But most of the people like this don't have massive amounts of liquidity. Like, I personally don't like keeping more than like $1,000, bro. Me personally, nah, I don't like money. Nope. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't like money. I straight to an asset. Nope, I don't want none of that, bro. But either way, hopefully everyone's kind of living in that manner. That would be smart, at least, right? Not to, specifically if you have a savings, do not keep a lot of like liquidity in your accounts, guys, because it's just disappearing due to inflation. Make sure your money is making you money, basically. All right. But either way, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. I hope this guy loses. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.